Welcome back to Terror Takeover, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, disgusting, and horrifying. I'm your host, Crow.
And I'm Char.
And we're here in Asia together. That's like so crazy. I think like part of me like still like has trouble wrapping my like head around it.
Yes, I know. I wake up like, where am I?
Like we're literally across the world from where we normally are. But
yes.
It's been really, really nice. Char met us in Thailand last week.
Yes.
So you've already been in Asia for like a week and a half now. How do you feel?
Yes, I feel good. I'm like, this is like full retirement plans for me.
Yeah.
I also annual plans. I feel like every time I go someplace, I'm like, okay, I have to make sure that I come back here once a year, but I literally have to come back to Southeast Asia once a year. Sure. It's amazing. I love the beaches, the food, the people, like everything has been incredible. It's been so good. I'm so happy to be here. And it's also been like bucket list for me. So checking that off before like 30 is incredible. Right. So pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that you've talked about for like a long time. Like, I feel like since high school, you've been talking about specifically going to Thailand, but it's kind of crazy, like thinking that we're like literally here and we did it together, which is something that's really exciting for me. But also, you're like totally right. Doing this before 30 is like, I feel like a really big deal. And I feel like some people wait until like, they literally, like you said, retire to do something like this. So I'm proud of us. I think that we did something really exciting. Yes. And also for everybody who's listening, don't wait. I know that it sounds easier said than done, because traveling can be like very expensive. But it's just, I guess, like a matter of, and I know that like certain people just have certain priorities that they have to take care of first. But we did save up for a long time to be able to do this, and it totally is possible. It may not be the easiest thing in the world, but it's possible, and I totally suggest it to anybody who wants to. It's just been a great experience. And then also, Kai's family lives in Malaysia here, so we kind of have to, travel quite a bit. But
yeah. I think it's important to travel. Like just being here for these past few days, I've met so many people from around the world. I've had so many experiences, tried foods, and spoke languages I never spoke before. I think it's really essential to your growth as a human to travel when you can, and like just to explore the world. You're going to meet so many people and experience so many things you never would in your hometown, and it really helps build your character. And it's fun. It's exciting. It's just different. And it's nice to be a little different every once in a while. So,
I totally agree. And I think it also gives you like a better like appreciation and understanding for just other people in general, not necessarily even like people who are from the area that you're visiting, but just like, wow, it's amazing to see that people can really be so different and we really still can get along and like work together. And I think it's
it's been like a melting pot.
Yeah,
no,
really.
When I went to the elephant sanctuary, I like talked to this Alaska family, and I like rode a boat with French people, and I've like met Malaysian people, Thai people, Russian people. And really, it's incredible to meet people from all over the world, and we're all still like, even though we don't speak English, I guess English does kind of tie us together. We all still find ways to communicate to each other, laugh with each other, enjoy moments, and it's cute.
That's so true. It's crazy, like how much you really are, other than just like being super nervous, but how much you're able to communicate without like really speaking the same language. I think that's something really cool and really human that we're learning. But it's been great. Yeah. So we started out in Bangkok, which we were talking about, I think was both of our favorites.
Yes.
And Bangkok. Then we went to Phuket after, which was cool. Phuket is more of like a beach town, I'd say.
Yeah. Really a beach city. It's huge. It's like,
right.
But
so small town stuff. But and it's really, really nice because of that. It was like a more touristy area, which is not a big deal. But that also means that, prices are probably going to be higher. Traffic is going to be a little bit crazier. Yeah. But I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. And then we came back to Malaysia yesterday was our flight. It's crazy. Like things are just going by so fast. I was so worried about being away from home for like the month or so that we were going to be gone, not including my tour whenever I get back. But it honestly has like flown by, and literally, like, shit, I could do like another month here.
No, literally, I'm like, I'm about to go see my coworkers for the first time in a week, and it's literally a week already. I'm like, dang, I just left home.
Right,
but it is coming up quick. I definitely loved Bangkok. I think it's basically Southeast Asia, New York. It's tons of people, tons of stalls. The street food is incredible. I was so worried I was going to be like, shit my pants out and like picking up different colors, but honestly I've been fine the whole time. It's all just been like, and also to be fair, I wasn't as adventurous as I thought I would be. I still mostly had like pad thai, Penang curry.
Oh, as far as food, I was about to say, because I feel like you were very adventurous.
Oh yeah, activities for sure. Food. I mean, but also there's not that much crazy stuff you can try. Like I am very seafood strange. I used to be a seafood girly, and then now I can't really eat like shrimp anymore. But I'll do like crab and lobster.
You better support Tara Takeover. Don't cut this out.
Yeah, we can keep that part.
Don't cut this out, he said.
Best podcast in the world.
Broadcast. Anyway, so I definitely did a lot of adventures as far as activities go. Like when I was in Bangkok, what else I did? I went to the animal sanctuary. I did that in Phuket actually, but I'm trying to remember what I did in Bangkok. Oh, we went to the temples. Mm-hmm. Incredible scene, which is perfect for this episode.
Wat Pho, right?
Yeah, we went to Wat Pho. That's the reclining Buddha, I believe. Mm-hmm. Wat Arun. Oh, we also saw like a Wat, just like an emerald one that was mostly like emeralds and jewels and really pretty. I don't know which one that was. And then, of course, the Grand Palace, which has like the big, huge everything. Literally, it feels like you're walking into a treasure chest. It's just gold and exotic jewels and like no photos, no shoes. You have to be very, very respectful, which was nice. It was nice to kind of go in and just have a little moment and leave. Right. And then, we just explored a lot of different parts of Bangkok. I went to Khao San Road, which is like Khao San and Soy Cowboy are both the big red light party districts. Khao San is slightly less crazy than Soy Cowboy, but both are still pretty crazy, honestly. So that was kind of funny. We definitely went shopping. We went to the mall a few times. I'm trying to think of anything else we did there. But yeah, so then in Phuket, I did a little hike to Freedom Beach, which was insane. I say little hike. Me and everyone that I passed were just like sweating buckets, red faces, exhausted. My legs were like dying. Multiple times I was like, damn, did I make a mistake? Should I turn around? But honestly, the beach was worth it to get there. Like it was so chill. It was so pretty. And obviously like the vibes were just kind of like casual. It's a very smaller beach. It was still more people than I expected, but it wasn't quite as like packed as the other beaches like Patong and just some other beaches that were nearby. Right. I don't remember what beach we went to. Nahan was as well.
Nihon or something. Yeah, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it.
But I don't know what beaches we went to in Bangkok if we did go to beaches out there.
We didn't, no, because I don't know, I actually don't even know if Bangkok.
Yeah, I don't think it's by the water. I think it's still kind of far.
Right, but if it is, then we were definitely not anywhere near it, but which is fine because I love a little inner city moment.
We hit the city, hit the beach, and now we're in Malaysia doing the same thing essentially.
It's super exciting. I was going to say if the background looks familiar, but I forgot for that episode. I forgot to record the video, but that is so frustrating. But
it's okay. Well, now you get to see it for the first time.
But
with me.
Right, but this is where we were the first time we recorded whenever Char was still in America, and then we were in Malaysia. It's super cute. It's actually, and I think this is pretty popular, but atop like malls, there's a ton of malls in Asia, but atop like the malls, there's like apartment buildings where people will usually lease out apartments and I guess like do like Airbnb stuff. And it's pretty nice. I know that people have their opinions on like Airbnb tourism and stuff like that, but it's been nice being able to just go downstairs and like there's a mall there.
Yeah.
And malls are different here because it's not just the kind of thing where it's like just like a bunch of like designer stores or like Victoria's Secret or stuff like that. Over here, they've got grocery stores inside. They've got a ton of restaurants.
Arcades too.
Arcades, yeah, like full arcades. So usually like the top floor of the mall, at least in KL, I notice is like all arcades and like stuff for kids and stuff. Yeah. So it'll be like games
and stuff.
Right, like it'll have like playrooms. They have like a ton of like anime stuff here, which is really cool if you like anime, which I do. I haven't had as much time to watch it lately, but I still do enjoy it. But anyway, so they'll have like figures for sale, like little figurines, and they'll have like gacha, and they'll have like the UFO catchers and stuff like that. But they also have the arcades, which is really fun, and we're definitely gonna go play Taiko at some point today. Taiko girlies, and then. And then usually on the bottom floor, it's like grocery stores, usually like a big food court situation, but also there's like a ton of like restaurants just scattered throughout the mall. So there's literally at any given time, within like a 1 mile radius, there's like probably at least like 100 restaurants to choose from, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's like a whole hot pot alley beneath us right now that we can go to, which we are going to like hot pot it up. I cannot wait. Yeah.
So true.
It's so convenient being right above a mall because like you said, malls are like the central point here. Like people don't go to like a Walmart or like a Watson's. It's all just in a mall, which is convenient because you can just be like, all right, I'm gonna go hit like all 5 of my errands in one go and then go home. Yeah. Man, what a dream. In Houston, I gotta drive to 6 different places to run errands. It's an all-day affair. Then I gotta go home and I'm like, damn, I'm tired. So it's way better to just like walk around here. And I think it's cute. The malls are kind of like half indoor, half outdoor here, or there's like outdoor areas. So it's kind of cute whenever it was raining yesterday and we were walking and like, even though the floor didn't get like super wet, but it was kind of slippery, it was nice to just kind of like be walking in the rain and then shopping and browsing. It was just so cute and really nice to see. So it was fun.
I will also say for some reason, like if I go to a mall in America, I'm drained immediately. I'm like, it's time to go home and I'm going to sleep the rest of the day.
Yeah,
But like over
yeah.
here, I go to the mall. It's just like whatever. You know?
It's
I
just
don't,
like part of your day.
right. I don't know if it's just like for whatever reason, it's just like easier, or like maybe people
Yeah.
just mind their own
I
business.
think it's a
more,
lot
or-
less violent, less
Yeah.
violent lights everywhere, less people being like,
Yeah.
come here. Yeah.
Yeah. People
Less
are super
crowded.
like, I guess respectful of each other's like kind of just existence in general. So
Yes.
it's not as quite as draining, even though we've been around like a lot more people.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe also I'm just getting more used to it because I'm spending a lot more time around people.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was at home, I'd literally just be sitting in my room or leaving only on the weekends for work. So it's one of those.
Yeah. It could also be you're just like getting used to being around a ton of people.
Yeah.
People that are similar to you, at least.
Which means whenever I go home, I'm going to get used to being alone again. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Although it's going to be a while. You still got a month
You
of being
think?
on tour. You got a
Maybe. Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to like just leave my house more and like be more social. Like maybe that'll be like better for me.
What do you want? I need to do the same.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I feel like you're social though.
Yeah, but it's violently antisocial. I force it. I try. Actually, I am trying to be more social. So this has been a nice practice run here, and going back home, I hope to keep it going as well
Right.
for sure, and keep being active. Like I had just started getting into a lull after the holidays, so being here has been a great way to kind of jumpstart. Like get used to walking 1,000,000 miles a day and like carrying
lot
stuff
of
1,000,000 miles a
walking.
day. So much walking,
Yes,
so much. I've been
which is
like
great.
hitting my move goals. I'm sad that I busted up my Apple Watch. Note to everyone: be careful with your Apple Watch for real.
The water.
Somebody told me that apparently, so I never paid attention because I was like, who cares? Apparently the soap that you use when you wash your hands over time like weakens the seals on
my
your
gosh.
watch. So I didn't even think about that, but I was just playing in mud water, I was playing in beach water, it was fine, and then it wasn't
because
until
it's
the beach.
waterproof normally.
I guess. It's splash proof. They're very particular about their legal language,
my
but
gosh.
some people are fine. My watch has been fine for quite a long time. I've swam
Yeah.
before, but it was about that time. So
Wow.
So note to self, do not use soap when you wash your hands and have your watch on, or take the watch off.
Right.
And just know that like waterproof is only so much. So
Or at least just push it higher up on your arm or something.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
have that stretchy band, so I feel
Yeah.
like you could have just. Whoop,
I know.
If you knew, but
but it's okay. I'll get a new one, and either way, it's kind of good not to look at it because it was probably saying like you just hit your move goal 3 times today, or you just got
wow.
25,000 steps today, 30,000 steps.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of walking. That's all. The bot 2Ks are going to be a lot of walking too tomorrow. Going up those rainbow stairs.
Oh yeah. It's been it's absolutely been like me and Kai were worried that we're like, oh man, we're totally gonna gain like 20 pounds being here because of how much we're eating.
No.
But I would say the amount that we're like moving, just the sheer amount of walking, is absolutely going to counteract that. Like I'm not concerned at all. I actually think that we've probably been, and maybe you'll agree with me, but I feel like I am the healthiest that I've like over here that I've been in like literally years. Like I've been eating a lot of more whole foods, like a lot more fresh foods.
Yeah, a lot more real meals.
Less processed stuff, which no hate to processed stuff if that's like, what you do, like no hate, but I will definitely say that my body has been experiencing like probably a little bit of a cleanse.
Yeah.
And then, like just being super active, just like in day-to-day life, like just to get, I would say that like places are just close enough that you don't want to have to like drive there or call a Grab or whatever, which if you don't know, Grab is like the Uber here. But just far enough that you're like actually getting a good amount of steps
absolutely.
in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been pretty great.
It's been nice. I'm glad about it.
I've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
Should we get into the topic?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into the episode.
Alrighty.
Yay.
Because we were spending time in Southeast Asia, we wanted to talk about a Southeast Asian movie. This movie came out in, I believe, 2021, was it? We're going to talk about The Medium.
Yay.
This is a movie that we watched, actually, I guess like probably around a year ago or something, like not long after it came out. But we just rewatched it to be able to keep it fresh in our minds to talk about today. Great movie.
Yes.
Love this movie. I was telling Charlotte that I feel like watching it the second time, and this is probably with like any movie, like I feel like you're able to catch a lot like small details that we didn't catch the first time.
Yeah.
Which this was like already like I enjoyed it the first time we watched it, and I will say that I expected it to not be as scary as well because we already saw it and knew what to expect, but I was still super freaked out. I will say there's certain parts that like you can prepare yourself for, but there's certain parts that are like, wow, that is just burning a memory in my skull.
Yeah, you just can't. You can't at all. I'm like, it just like pops up again. But
Right. So basically the actual storyline, it follows a shaman, Nim, who basically they're trying to do a documentary on like the life of like a shaman in Thailand. So she basically is kind of like, how would you like describe like a shaman? Like
A shaman?
not like really a prophet, but she's able to kind of be like a
Well,
medium. Like she's able to
yeah.
communicate with.
Yeah, it's based out of Thailand, so everyone there is essentially Buddhist for the most part. So obviously, it's a little bit. There's different kinds of Buddhism and stuff like that, but for the most part, they're just a Buddhist shaman. So she kind of like, I mean, this is obviously like not the in-depth, super accurate description, but essentially, yeah, she's like a medium between spirits and between worlds. She can kind of like see other spirits. She can help cure spiritual illnesses. It's kind of funny when she's like, "Don't come to me if you have cancer, but come to me if you have like a demon in you or something like that."
Right.
So she's just kind of like. She's like a shaman who's been possessed by a spirit.
Right, which is it's like supposed to be a good kind of possession because she is possessed by a goddess. Is she considered a goddess?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
Bayan. Yeah.
Bayan, the goddess. And so she is like the person that communicates in between. Right, but anyway, and she is basically going back home for a funeral of her sister's husband and starts noticing really strange things happening with her niece, Mink.
Yes.
And they start to realize that, well, at first they think that Mink is probably being possessed by Bayan herself, and they're thinking, oh, maybe Bayan is trying to move into Mink. But then they start realizing that it's something far more sinister, that something very foul is at play here.
Yes.
And it's everything just kind of goes to shit from there. Yeah. I remember the first time we watched it, I was like, oh shit. I will say like immediately, like the first like even 10 minutes of the movie where she's kind of describing her role and like they're giving you a little bit of like kind of an explanation of the setting, I guess.
Yeah. Also, the movie is shot in Isan, which is like an area of Thailand that's bordering Laos and Thai. So it's there. The cultural influences of both communities are really strong as well.
Right.
There's a lot of background that we don't know, unfortunately, because of that. But yeah.
So whenever they kind of start setting up the story, immediately I was like freaked out. I don't know why, but I started feeling like, oh shit, this is going to be a different level. Like this is going to be a different level of scary. I will say like we've seen possession movies before, and a lot of them do have kind of a similar thing going on where it's like, okay, so clearly there's a demon inside this person, and then we're going to do our best to get it out, and everything goes wrong, of course. This is basically what happens in every possession movie. However, I would say that the medium definitely has its own level of originality to it because of the cultural influence on it. I would say there's not that many movies like this, honestly, which is crazy because the concept isn't super original.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that, so like you said, watching the movie a second time through, obviously the first time we watched it, we were just like, what the fuck is happening? It was just lots of like strange action, strange stuff. But watching it a second time, getting a chance to kind of read a little bit more about it, I think what sets this movie apart from other possession movies, because you are right, most of them are pretty much the same thing. I think this one, the really big thing is just talking about the chain of spirituality. And I've just been reading the research about it, just knowing so much about how everything has a spirit, which is a very big concept in both Buddhism and animism, which is something else that's really popular in that community. It really talks so for example, that funeral that Nim went to the very beginning for you said her father or like
it was for her sister's husband.
For her sister's husband,
or Raj or something. I'm not sure exactly how to say it.
Yeah, I know the name. I know, and we're not saying names because the names are very like it's like I know that the characters are Nim, Mink, Manit, and Siraj, but don't ask me to point out who's who. Basically, the idea is that each character in the film has committed a really grave sin in humanity, and that manifests itself again in the evil spirits that keep coming around and possessing them. Like obviously the main person that's being attacked the most is Mink, the younger daughter, the youngest character, the newest one coming in. But everyone else that tries to help her and that is in love with her ends up kind of being screwed as well, but not necessarily because of her, but because of the things that they've done. So, for example, the sister's brother, apparently he was committing insurance fraud. So he's stealing from people. Don't want to spoil too much of the movie because there's really a lot of crazy things that go on. But, there's a lot of characters that get involved in, like, animal mistreatment and, like, sexual mistreatment. And so all of those things kind of what's what I'm looking for? Just kind of reappear again later in the movie.
I know exactly what word you're thinking of, but I can't, like, think of it, like...
I don't know how it comes.
Not fabricate. There's, like, a... We're going to think of it later, like halfway through the episode and be like, that's the word.
Where it just pops back up. But it's really cool. It's not really a spoiler, but towards the end when they're trying to do sort of like a final... Yeah, I guess that works.
Sorry.
That works. Yeah, materializes again later in the film. So towards the end when they kind of are having that big oh shit moment where they're trying to save Mink, but it all goes to shit. And like everyone just starts acting crazy. It's just funny that like pretty much everyone gets possessed by the spirits of things that they just didn't take seriously. So I thought that was really good.
Whenever you pointed that out to me while we were watching it, I was like, wow, I like didn't even notice that the first time.
Yeah, no, totally.
Okay, I don't know if you noticed it the first time.
No. I had to like read it and like watch again and understand.
Which, and I think it did clear up. There were some parts that were like kind of confusing me, not to get too deep into it, but there were
Like
some parts where people who are being affected by the evil spirits start kind of acting like dogs.
Yeah, they're like walking on all fours and like, literally like making faces.
But it makes sense because of the family's history of like selling the like dog meat and stuff. Which really,
just to get out the way right now, that's not a common thing. That's not like something that people do.
Right.
Anyone that's like, oh, Asians eat dogs. Don't be fucking weird and dumb on our podcast, please. Okay, that's not a thing. But just to say, and also to even say, I only saw like one sign in one place in Thailand that was like, eating dogs is illegal here. There's a huge fine. So if you are worried, people here don't like that either.
That's an outdated, That's a thing that was probably, or maybe still goes on in like,
in like the way backwoods where they don't have other food.
But that's also just super outdated. I've had so many people, this is so weird, but I feel like throughout my life, like try to argue with me about this for some reason.
Because people love to be like, oh yeah, they love eating dog over there. You don't know anyone. Who do you know here? Stop the cab. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's very extra. And all those like dumb jokes about, oh, don't get Chinese because it's all doggy.
Yeah.
Like it's all, we've come very, very far from the early 2000s. We've come so far as a community. So it was definitely pointed that this family that was involved in selling dog meat was later possessed by spirits of the dogs that they harmed. I think that's actually beautiful in a way, everything has a spirit. Basically it's an idea of karma in a way.
Yeah.
Everything comes back for sure.
Oh, I wanted to circle back to like the whole thing, that's like so sad about it is Mink is kind of like almost in a way like she's just like a
victim.
A victim, yeah, exactly. Like she's just experiencing the curse, kind of.
Unless you continue your thought, because I thought that as well.
That's really it. But go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I thought the same thing. I was about to say like Mink, and why is she just having to bear the sins of her entire family?
Right.
Which I guess is kind of a common thing, unfortunately. But I was reading apparently. Mink and one of the other characters, Mac or whatever, had like an incestuous relationship.
Okay, well, so here was my thing about that is I don't think that they even made it clear that, and I'm not saying that this is necessarily okay or makes it better, but it seems.
We support incest.
No, it seems. It seemed to me like he may have been a stepbrother. Because they made it sound like they kept saying we're Raj's son, like they weren't saying like Noy's son or anything.
Yeah.
So it almost seemed like to me like it was maybe just like a weird stepbrother stepsister situation, which is still weird. Yeah. Sorry, if you disagree with me, but that's still weird to me.
Weird. No, it's super weird.
But,
super weird.
But that would be a lot better than if they were actually brother and sister.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what made me like have that thought. But I did like that definitely was like a strange thing. And I honestly didn't understand like the point of them mentioning that at all, other than maybe to show that that's why.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely agree with you that even if it's just step siblings, it's still kind of weird for me. But I think they were trying to imply that. But overall, I do think that Mink was mostly like a character who was just falling victim to everything that her family had done in the past. Basically, ancestral trauma being passed down. Right. And even that manifested in some ways for herself, doing things that just weren't her being like attacking little kids and everything. Just not attacking, but just like basically she was possessed by multiple spirits at one point. So like the spirit of like a drunk old man, the spirit of like a little kid pushing kids around, the spirit of like a prostitute, I guess. So it was just all these things that she had to face. And unfortunately, her character didn't do anything.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Which was the drunk old man part? Like
the drunk old man? I don't know what they mean by that. I guess whenever she started like getting loud at the funeral for no reason, basically, and being like, what'd you say to me? And just crazy.
Or maybe whenever, because there's a part where she's in like the truck and then she just like slaps the shit out of her.
Yeah, exactly. Basically when she just starts randomly being violent like that, but not with the little kid thing where she's like in the playground and pushes the kid. That's like her with,
being a child.
Yeah. And then obviously the prostitutes was when she's in the office going crazy.
Oh God, that's such a horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say throughout this entire movie, the hardest, I'm not going to say hardest to stomach, but the most upsetting parts, like the scariest parts and the most upsetting parts are all through the CCTV footage.
Yes.
For me, I will say like, there are like several scenes. Well, really, I will say like the scariest parts of the movie, in my opinion, happen within a 10-minute span. We're laughing because there was a part where I stepped away from the movie and I really felt like I was only gone for 10 or 15 minutes and I came back and all the scary parts had already happened and I just left you guys in the dark watching them. I felt so bad.
It happens all the time. It's literally my life. I'm just like, we're watching scary movies. Let me get comfortable alone.
Yeah, I did actually go back and like rewind it and watch because those are actually my favorite parts of the movie because they're so terrifying.
Yeah,
I mean, I love the backstory building, and I think it's what makes the movie such a gem. But I can't help but love a creepy part.
You know, when it's actually getting popping. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so the part where she disappears for a while and she comes back. And she's just totally beyond fucked at that point.
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh my gosh, she's so scary because they just show scenes of like them just driving her around and trying to go do different procedures to try to.
Yeah, they try like basically 3 times to try and get the spirit out of her, and it's messed up because really it was not even supposed to be her. It's supposed to be her mom dealing with all this stuff, but she rejected the spirit for Christianity. So now. Her daughter's dealing with all this. But anyway, they try like multiple times to save the situation.
Right. Well,
I'm still super mad
like
at the end, by the way.
The whole time, like,
yes, literally.
It's so scary, and her eyes are dead.
Yeah, dead
this
to
actress,
the world.
oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. The actress killed it, for real. I forgot it was a movie. Like,
yes. Her name is, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but it's Norelia Gulmankopek or something like that. But she is, first of all, gorgeous girl. Gorgeous
she's
girl.
So beautiful.
And actually, like, a lot of women in Thailand are just gorgeous.
Yes,
like,
everyone here is beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't come here on your weak shit. Everyone here is beautiful, for real, to the nines. It's scary. Scary.
Super, super pretty, but horrifying at the same time. Like,
yes, absolutely.
Yes, like her descent into madness is like so
it was real.
drastic.
It's uncomfortable.
Yes. But there's parts throughout like the CCTV footage where they set up cameras through the house to like kind of monitor her behavior, where she's just crawling around and just like,
oh my god, that scene when she comes up on the bed, she's like, girl, I'm like,
it is so evil, and she like touches the stomach, and the wife's like, my stomach hurts. Oh my gosh, awful.
Demonic, yes.
Yeah, and then I think it's also the way they made her eyes like glow in the footage too, which I don't know if that's really what would happen, but it, anyway, but it was really, really terrifying.
Absolutely.
And then also like there's this one part, like it scared me the most watching it again. I think it's because I expected it to happen.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel bad saying this because I want people to just experience it, but I think it'll still affect them the same.
You still have to watch it. Regardless.
Right. Is whenever there's one scene where someone is just doing something like casual, like I guess they're like going throughout the house and just doing, it's like one of the family members, and she goes up the stairs, and so the whole time you're thinking what's gonna happen in the scene, and then she just fucking like leans out from under the stairs, and she was just there the whole time, and it my god,
that was so creepy.
The first time we watched it, it shook me. I was like I think I screamed. Oh my gosh, so scary. Watching it back now, it's not as scary because I expected her to be there, but
it's still very uncomfortable. It's like, it's weird. They did really good for a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't know too many other Southeast Thai horrors. There are some that have come out like since now. I'm like, okay, we got to go back and check them out. But I think they really did a good job.
As far as like cultural,
as far as like popular Southeast Asian horror movies.
There's a movie I want you to watch. I don't remember if we watched it together or not, but it's actually an Indonesian movie, and I wanted to talk about it for this episode too, but I figured we could do it another time.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's called Impetigore, I think is how you pronounce it. That movie is really, really good too. Highly suggest, but it's got that same like cultural vibe to it, and there's like spirits and possession involved and stuff too. It's really, really good. Yes. There's some parts that are like, whoa! Like,
I know, I believe it.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have a lot
Asian
less. They have a lot less qualms about this kind of things. Even reading about this movie, the director was talking. Someone asked the director about like, how do you feel about putting all this crazy stuff in your movies? Kind of a lot. And he was like, well, I feel like it's central to the story. I feel like it really drives home the point of like these are the horrible things that humans can do, and these are the repercussions of them. So I'm like, all right.
Well, I actually don't think, like, in my opinion, I'm very, like, I don't want to say that I'm, like, super, super PC or anything like that. I don't think that I am, but I am pretty reverent about certain things. Yeah. I don't believe that there was anything in this movie that, like, was too much.
Right.
Like,
it wasn't super indecent or triggering. It wasn't an HBO film.
None of it was for the shock value. Like, it all, I mean, it did shock you. Like, I think that's the point. But it wasn't to the point where it was like, okay, like, can you like actually write a decent plot? So you don't have to rely on stuff like this to get views and stuff. But it was like, there were some parts that I even told Charlotte I had to cover my eyes for because I just couldn't handle them again. But that being said, I feel like they were necessary to move the plot forward and to make the movie as scary as it was.
I know that. So something else that I feel like we haven't mentioned at all is even though this movie is pretty obviously set in Thailand, mostly a Thai movie, it did have some bit of a Korean influence as well. Yes. It did first premiere in Korea. And
did it? I didn't know that.
South Korea. I think so, at a film festival, maybe perhaps before. I hope that's not wrong, but I believe so. And then I think one of the writers is Korean.
Let me pull up. I have the name here.
Yes, I know. I see it, but I don't want to say it without it being wrong.
Nahon Jin. I might be pronouncing it wrong too, but
that's fine.
He actually did. We were talking about this. The screenplay for The Willing, which is really cool. We haven't seen that one yet.
Yes,
we're very much ready to watch it.
About it. Yes,
I hear nothing but good stuff, and I have like a group of friends that's just like, "Did you watch The Willing yet?" I'm like, "Can I literally
can y'all get off me, please?
Can y'all not give me a minute. Maybe we'll watch it tonight. Who knows?
I'm super down. I'm super down. But yeah, I'm super. I mean, I think I said this a lot last couple episodes, but having a Southeast Asian bestie, Filipino, which counts, I think so. And obviously in my whole life, a lot of Asian people, it really means a lot to me to have representation for Asian people as well, especially in genres like horror. I know that people are like, why would you want to see people that you like know and love getting killed? But there's so much creativity and there's so much more access. And honestly, people are different. People have ideas. People are creative. I want to see that from all over the world, no matter what it looks like, not just the usual typical stuff. And this was good. This was a good time. I learned so much more about like Thai people and about Thai culture just from watching this film, even though it was supposed to be like a scary movie. So I'm a big fan.
Well, I think that's what like makes horror like so exciting and like I think speak to us so much more deeply is like yes, it is entertaining and it's exciting, but I think it's more so the ideas behind it, like what inspired the fear, like what anxiety or what like cultural or just like world conflict inspired this fear that we have that we felt the need to kind of like exacerbate into like a bigger thing or like a monster. And I think that there's something that's like that's very exciting about like having your fears be shared with somebody else. Like it's like, oh, this thing is terrifying to me and someone else is also afraid of it. In a way, it makes it feel like some sort of connection that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like if you think of things like I can't think like right off the top of my head, but just culturally something that you
black
share
people are
with
afraid of dogs. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not. But no, but I get what you mean. I do get what you mean. It's like cultural fears. It's a cultural also beliefs as well. Things that you're like faithful about, things that everyone kind of respects and believes in as well. So it's good. There's commonalities that we can all find. So same thing with traveling, with horror movies, finding these threads that connect human beings is so important and so good, especially doing it in ways that are a little bit unconventional.
And it's like we could totally connect on something positive. Like we can connect on like, oh, we like the same foods or we like this and that, which is great.
Color,
but there's something so much
the
more.
Same serial killers.
Yes, there's something so much deeper whenever you have a connection based on something that's like almost like a little negative or scary. I know that sounds crazy to say, but it is true.
Oh yeah, I think this is the healthiest way to go about it.
Yeah, being able to bond on your strengths and your weaknesses.
Absolutely.
I think there's something really exciting about that.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, we should also mention, before I forget, the director, Banjong Pisanthanakun. I'm not sure if I said that exactly right, but I'm doing my best. He is the same director as the original Shutter movie from 2004. They also had an American version, which was a little bit later.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but the original one was a Thai movie, which for some reason I remembered it being Japanese, but I think when I was younger, I just didn't know what was going on. But anyway, it's the original is a Thai movie, and that also is like, I think it's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't want to say too much about it because I could just sit here and be like, great movie, and then it's like not great, but I'm sure it is if it's the same director. And also like the premise behind it is really, really cool. So basically, have you seen that movie or not?
The Wailing?
No, Shutter.
Shutter? No.
So that was like one of the those movies where he kept taking pictures, and in the background of all the pictures, he would see like a ghost, and the ghost would get closer and closer to him, kind of thing.
Oh, scary!
Yeah, it's super, super scary. Yes. And the ending is like really good, but from what I remember. But it's basically I think they witnessed like a car crash or something. They witnessed somebody die, and then they start just seeing a ghost. I don't know, something like that. But it's really, really good.
I like movies like that with the camera, just because I'm always scared to take a picture, look in the mirror, and I'm going to see something I don't want to see.
Yeah, I love like a camera-based like horror thing, and I also love like camera-based like horror games as well. Like I think some people think they're played out, but I like it. I think it's like exciting and fun. Like
people think everything's played out. Y'all played out.
Literally, you're played out. Period. Yeah. And also he also did, there's a movie, I haven't seen this one, but I see people talking about it or like it's always on Netflix, I think it's called PMAC. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, they haven't seen that as well.
Say that either, but that one's from 2013. And then also he did a segment in ABCs of Death. So that's also one of those movies that you always see it like on all the streaming services for some reason.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I forgot what that one was called. It was like N for something was the name of the title. But yeah, he's actually got like a super long list of horror movies in his filmography, which is cool. And then also, in addition to Na Hong Jin, who was the writer for The Wailing, other people who wrote for this movie were also Cha Won Choi and Chantavid Danish Sevi was another person who also did it. Just want to mention that because I think that the plot for the movie is like great. I think that this movie is honestly like
good
one
writing.
Of the best like newer movies to come out.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Well, it was. I think so. For that year, it was like the 6th most popular movie of 2021. I think.
Oh, like in general or horror?
No, and like horror, and like they're in a very specific list, but it's pretty high ranking. It did really well. I think it did even better than I think Black Widow may have come out at the same time.
But also for a movie that's not like American. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's a huge
deal.
for international movie.
Yeah.
It almost got to the Academy Awards, which I think is worth noting. Like, it didn't make it there, but
For
almost
sure.
was awarded.
Absolutely.
I mean, back in a time when people weren't, I guess it wasn't that long ago, 2021, but people weren't really doing that back then. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like it really put me on to Shudder, honestly. Like, I know you've always been trying to get me into it, but I'm like, okay, Shudder does, because well, anyway, I'm not going to linger on Shudder. I like Shudder. It just has a lot, it's for the real horror girlies, okay?
Yes.
Which I am a horror girly,
Yes.
but this is like if you just want to watch horror 24/7, if you want to see horror movies that no one ever talks about, Shudder has them all. They have the old, the classic, the new, all that. So it is good. It is good. I think I need to get through the classics. I can't have people ask me if I've seen Poltergeist any longer.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's one of those things where it never stops. Like
I
it's
know,
kind of like
you're right.
there are some like classics that you could say like are like immediate classics, like Friday the 13th, Halloween. I would say Poltergeist, Scream. Is
those are like the creature features. I'm trying to think of other ones too.
Amityville Horror is not technically. It's not a creature feature. And then The Exorcist, things like that. Those are like immediate classics. Yeah. But even if you've seen like a shit ton of movies, there's always going to be somebody who's like, you haven't seen The Toolbox Murderers or something like that. It's like, okay, that's Toby Hooper's like other popular. It's just there's always going to be somebody that thinks that they're like they have this movie that they love, but they're shocked you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. Which is, I mean, there's something beautiful about people having favorites, but also at the same time. You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be seeing more things.
Clearly. Things are always going to be coming out, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things are literally coming out every year. There are like a lot of new movies that I still have to catch up on too.
Yeah. A lot of new horror that we're kind of into. But I hope we continue with this trend of like Southeast Asian, Black, whatever, anyone horror, because I'm loving the stuff that's coming out. It's been really, really good so far. So.
Yeah, the representation has been like so, like I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. It's just kind of, just made horror seem so much more real and personal for me, I think.
Yes. No, same. Yeah. It's just been creative. I mean, you can cut this out because it's not even related at all, essentially. But the movie, We Cloned Tyrone, that was so good to me. You should really still watch it, honestly.
Okay. Well, I mean, my brother was telling me to watch it too.
Yeah. And it's just like a movie about like horror, dystopian in the hood. So just like, yeah. So anyway, but there's lots of stuff coming out, I'm really excited to see more work from these writers and directors. I think it's good to kind of like follow people because they
absolutely
will continue to kind of have the same themes within their work. Like the guy that wrote for The Wailing and wrote for this movie, he still kind of has themes about belief and religion. Like it's not really a spoiler, but there's like a part where Nim kind of like battles with her faith in the movie, and I think it's really good to kind of touch on that. So I believe the same happens with The Wailing as well. There's like moments of questioning your beliefs. So so just seeing kind of common themes. Auteurs.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I would say that's like a really good tip as well for like people who are just getting into horror is like if you don't really know where to go next, yes, you could just like watch all the things that you think are classics. But I think that if you're looking to expand your knowledge a little bit more, I think one of the best ways to do that is like find a movie that you really liked and then look into that director.
Yeah.
So I will say like, to be fair for me, when it comes to like, directors, there's not really many directors where they have like only one movie that I like.
Yeah, which is good.
There's some. I mean, we've talked about it, but there's some that I'm like, okay, well, they got lucky with this one. But for the most part, if I like a movie by a director, I like most of their other movies as well. Not every single one, but most of them.
People have their flops.
Right. So if we think about like John Carpenter, for example, I love the vast majority of his movies. Vampire was okay. Vampires was okay, but it wasn't like his crowning achievement, and I don't even think that he believes it is.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and then you think of something like Argento. I started out just watching Suspiria, and then I said, well, let me just check out a couple of his others because I liked the way Suspiria made me feel. Yeah. And then I became like a huge fan. So I definitely recommend that to people trying to expand their horizons.
Yeah, totally. I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. We just wanted to mention that the next couple of weeks is still a little bit crazy for us as far as like travel. So the microphone quality is probably going to stay at this level for a couple more weeks. Yes. Sorry about that. I know that it doesn't sound the best, and I'm excited to get back to my rig at home. Char's going to be doing a little bit more traveling, like basically the minute we touch down.
Yes.
And then I'm hopping into a van as well, and we'll be on tour for 3 weeks, basically the minute I get home. Again, so it's going to be a few more weeks where things are going to be a little bit rocky and strange.
But also cool because we'll be all over the world.
Just bear with us. Yeah, we're probably going to have a lot to talk about, to be fair. So we're going to do our best. We're going to continue to try to drive out more and more content
Yes.
as usual, because I think we actually really enjoy doing it anyway. So it's kind of like part of my like routine now. I just like love locking in and being able to talk about the things that I love. So thank you guys so much as usual for your support. Any suggestions that you have, please let us know on Instagram or Terror Takeover on Instagram. Email is terrortakeoverpod@gmail.com. If you have any comments, suggestions, any cool clips of movies that you like that you want to send us, or screenshots or anything like that, we would love to see that. And we're always loving your suggestions and opinions. So
and support.
Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.